Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited that you're here, whether it's recording or watching it in the recording. That didn't come out right, whether it's live or the recording, whichever. But I have followed this young woman for years. I told her earlier I felt like I was stalking her and her mom, just in a dynamite couple. And I'm thrilled that they've agreed to come on and spend some time with us. And so if you would be sure and put in the comments where you're from. And I kind of manage, let me turn my phone off here, do this myself because I want to be totally involved in the whole process. And so if you just put where you're from and then you have questions and everything, be sure and put those down. I'll obviously Gabby and Rozalynn can see those. But today my guests are Gabby Goodwin and Rozalynn Goodwin. And Gabby is the founder at her young age of GABBY BOWS. And she's got so many amazing things to share with you and to talk about. And I cannot wait to get started with that. So without further ado, let me bring the beautiful ladies onto the stage. Hello, Gabby and Rozalynn.
Hello.
We're so excited that you're here. I can't tell you enough about that. Like I said, I don't like to use the word stalking with social media, but that's kind of feel like what I've been doing with both of you. And since you were a little bitty, Gabby, oh my gosh, since you were a little bitty. I've watched the interviews, I've seen the things, and of course you're a genius on social. Congratulations for that. I often tell people sometimes I'm not a big fan of doing bios because it's like it takes away from the time that we get to talk to the people, and I want to talk to y'all. And so both of them are very much out there online and LinkedIn profiles, et cetera. So I encourage you to connect there and kind of look up their stuff later. But at this point, I'd rather just kind of spend the time going through and talking to them and kind of learning about them and, some different things that they can share with us that they've done. Because I mean to tell you, there's a lot that could be shared about bios on both these amazing ladies. But Gabby, some people might know and some people might not know, but you started this at 7 years old. And Rozalynn, I think back as a parent, as a grandparent, what it must have been like to have a child come to you and want to start a business. So can y'all just talk about that? I know you've shared this 1,000 times on interviews, but if you could just share that few minutes, how that process happened, because to me, that's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. So how we were able to really create this barrette, the Gabby Bow, was just out of need. My mom would spend like 15 to 20 minutes doing my hair every morning, looking nice with barrettes that were not made for my hair. She would drop me off, and then I would be picked up, and my bows would be half gone. Half of my bows were gone. My hair was a complete mess. All her time was wasted, and then all her money would continue to be wasted because she would continue to buy and replace those barrettes that I lost. So it was a really big problem, and it's not just us. I mean, it's a generational problem. She lost barrettes, my grandma lost barrettes, like everybody lost barrettes. So it was really just something that came up in our household, in our home, and it was very frustrating for her. She actually went on social media to rant about how my bills didn't stay in my hair. And after her and many other moms were just talking about how terrible these barrettes were, our pastor actually jumped into the conversation and said, "Sounds like a market you need to break into." So my mom told me I was about 5 years old, did not know what entrepreneurship was at all. Didn't know how to start a business. Didn't necessarily want to start a business.
Yeah.
But I did know that I wanted to stop getting in trouble for losing my barrettes. And then secondly, I knew that I've always wanted to inspire people. And I at least saw just creating a barrette or a couple barrettes to share with my friends and family and things like that. I thought that would be the problem solver. So that basically just pushed us into a 2-year process of learning about how to create a barrette. And if we were going to create a barrette, we might as well just create a business out of it. And so that's how we were able to grow and create the business, like you said, when I was 7 years old in 2014. And we've now been in business for 11 years now.
That must be mind-boggling. Rozalynn, how did you know? I mean, obviously, Gabby didn't just wake up that day and become a persistent child. She obviously had that in her makeup, her DNA, I would guess. How did you know, hey, y'all, let's go for it? I mean, what gave you that confidence?
I think my faith really gave me the confidence. I was just speaking with someone else about this as far as they asked me for some advice as far as parenting. I believe one of my purposes here on earth as a mom in particular, and even a wife, is to help those in my family maximize their potential.
Mm.
So I've always been, seeking God about what is the purpose for these two amazing children that you've given me. And you could see early on, you mentioned something about persistence. I could see very early that Gabby was a very determined leader. She was insistent on things being right and being done right. She danced. She started dancing at 3. And one of the funniest things I love to share is we would, have, of course, she's practicing all the time for recitals, and it's time for a recital. And I think by that time, she's just like, we've been practicing long enough. She's 3-4 years old, and it's the day before the recital, and the other girls still don't have their moves together yet. So you could see that she was a little aggravated that people just weren't taking it as seriously as she was. But one recital night, I could see her on the stage, like pointing to different spots that little girls were supposed to be at. Like, you're supposed to be right here. We're supposed to be doing this. And you saw people just kind of chuckling in the audience. And I was a little embarrassed. And I was like, oh my God, like she's not supposed to be doing this at the recital. Like that's what you're supposed to be doing at practice. And I mentioned it to a woman who's older than me at my job the next day. And I said something like, gosh, she's just bossy. And she stopped me. And I'm so glad she did. She was like, nope, she's not bossy. She's a leader.
Amen. Amen.
And she corrected my language at that moment. I've never used that since.
Yeah.
She said, you need to make sure that you're saying the right words to her, that she hears that, because she's going to hear she's bossy from other people because they're not used to women leading.
Right.
So she corrected my language, but you could see very early, she was very persistent. And when this whole idea came up about a barrette, she just always believed everything. Like you could not tell Gabby that she could not create a barrette that would stay in her hair. Like if we're having a confrontation about barrettes all the time, why don't we just fix it? Like, why don't we make one that will stay? And there was nothing in her brain that made her think like, well, we don't even know how to draw. Like, how do you start? She unadulterated faith. That's exactly what she had. Thanks to her upbringing in our church and, everything else, children's church, everything else. She really just believed that we could create one. And I knew enough from being trained from our pastors to not squelch that and tell her she couldn't. So I was just kind of riding along with this game in my mind. I'm just like, okay, you can do anything, Gabby. And she's like, yep, I sure can.
Well, now this is a really naive, dumb question. Were there no bows out there that could fit what your needs were?
No.
Wow.
I mean, that's why we have 3 patents. We have a utility patent and 2 design patents on.
Let's see the bow. Let's see your,
Yeah. Okay. How they work too. They have 2 faces. You can see the design both ways. And then there's also teeth and craters inside the barrette.
Okay.
To sandwich the hair in place. So you wrap the hair around the center strip and then snap one enclosed and snap the other enclosed.
Okay. That explains it, because I couldn't understand what was different just when I was looking at it, the hair. It's that, okay, that's what that is. Okay. All right. I'm going to put that up there too, the bows, because that's fascinating. But that just goes to show you how many needs and cultures and all the different things out there that I just assumed that there would be something for everybody. But to your point, there wasn't. I mean, good for you that y'all took the time to realize that and to come up with something. I can only imagine how many little girls in your situation who were struggling with the same thing. Because I know it's like when you pay for bows and all that stuff and they're not there when you come home. It's like, well, what happened to your bows? And it's like,
right.
So I get that part as a grandmother, as a mom. I can totally see that. That's just fascinating to me. I think that's crazy. And I've seen online all the different things you have. I love the PR that y'all do with your social, where your emails and you have the pictures of little girls wearing the bows. I think that was, I think that's really important to show children. I had told, we were talking before we got started, my granddaughter, Sadie Mae, she's 4 and she loves the book, loves the book. We'll talk about that in a minute. But all the hairstyles are in the book and she loves the bubble twist. And so she wanted Grammy to do her hair in bubble twist. Well, let me just say it didn't quite turn out like it was supposed to. She's very persistent too. She couldn't understand why in the world it didn't look like the picture. So we've had some great discussions about different types of hair and different things, but
we love it.
Yeah, she wants to read the book all the time, but I think a lot of it is because of the hairstyles. Now, y'all have done some stuff where you do tutorials, and because you do so much to help young women, Gabby. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff y'all do. What have you done about that with teaching tutorials? Because I would imagine for moms and dads, just doing the hairstyles would be a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. We over the years have built a community of about 6,000 moms, and it's some brave dads in there too. Not a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a Facebook group. So it's Girls Natural Hair Care and Confidence with Gabby Goodwin. And it's just a safe space where people can come and ask questions that may seem trivial to others. It is a really safe space. We certainly hear a lot from our parents who are transracial adoption families.
Yes.
Who may be a different race than the child that they're raising. And they, constantly tell us that it's a safe space for them to come and get questions answered. So they can ask a question about product recommendations. We also have a running list of product recommendations by a natural hair specialist, as well as other moms in the group. We also have a natural hair specialist coming in every Sunday doing a Q&A or a styling demonstration. And then we've got a library of videos that have been done over the course of 3 years of those type things that people can find whatever topic that they're looking for and watch a video of it. We also have partnered with hairstylists to offer tutorials. So you can go to our website, GABBYBOWS.com. And if you want to learn how to cornrow, if you want to learn how to do flat twist, if you want to learn how to do 2-strand twist, we may need to add a tutorial for the bubble twist.
The bubble twist. Sadie Mae will be so pleased.
So we have those tutorials that you can kind of watch at your own pace.
Right.
Stop it, pause it, rewind it, and get a hairstylist teaching you how to do a certain style.
I never thought about it until you were talking about that. But say if you grow up in a family and you learn to cook and clean, all those things from the family, right? But then if you have a child who maybe is not the same, how would you even know what name to call the hairstyle?
You would.
I wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't. So what a gift you've given people to be able to have those resources, because you want the child to feel good about themselves and to love what they, who they are and what they look like and stuff. A very honest story here. I was at, one day I was going into a tanning salon. I get really dark, but I'm also very white unless I get in the sun. So I was going into a tanning salon. There was a mom there with her little girl, and the mom did not see me. And the little girl says, "Why are those people in there getting their skin dark?" And the mom said, and I said, "Sweetheart, let me tell you why, because I don't have the gorgeous color skin you have. I'm all this white and I want to have the beautiful skin you have." But at that moment, I thought to myself, something as simple as that because she was probably 3 or 4. I mean, she was a little bitty, maybe 5. But I thought we need to have those conversations. So kudos to you all for doing the tutorials and helping the parents and those kinds of things. I can't imagine the business stuff. Because you said your pastor had been real involved in, just giving encouragement for one thing, but along the way, how did you do that from a business perspective of starting the different steps? How did that take place?
We came up with the concept of an idea. It took us about 2 years, as Gabby said. We came up with the concept with drawing, but it really was, hi, Mindy. It was more, when we started, I honestly thought it was like a science project.
Okay.
So I'd send her, we went to various stores. We bought different types of barrettes. We researched the different type of barrettes because we did want to make sure there was not something like this out there, because we didn't need to waste time and money trying to create something that was already there. But, all different types of barrettes. I'd send her to school with various barrettes. If any of them came back, we would do observations about them. Maybe it was because of the spiky things in the middle. It was teeth. So we were writing down our observations. And then over, the 2-year period, We came up with different things based off the observations and things we wanted to see change, and came up with, I don't even want to call it a drawing because neither one of us can draw that well. So when the concept, we came up with it, 2 faces. We knew something needed to be in the middle. We just wasn't sure exactly what it would look like. There's a guy at our church still today. I asked him after church, I said, do you mind sitting down with me? I've got this strange request, but you can draw, and I have an idea in my head, and I'll pay you to get it out of my head on the paper.
Oh, wow.
And we sat down in like children's church after church, and he took the idea and concept that I had and made a 3D image of it. That is what we started trying to pitch to different companies, because my biggest, wildest dream was we come up with the concept and we sell the idea to an established company, and we put some money aside for college. We, asked them to name it after Gabby, and we put some money aside for college. Like, that was big for us. And we, I literally would take my lunch break. At that time I was working outside of business. I'd take my lunch break and just start doing random cold calls to these companies. You name them, Goody, Skirnchy, Conair, all of the people who are in this space, just cold calling every day for several months. And then one day I finally, and they also at that time had like a website portal where you could submit ideas. At that time, Goody was owned by Rubbermaid. So I'm just sending out this picture. We have no protection, no patent.
That was going to be my next question. Oh my goodness.
We had nothing. I mean, we were just, there should be like Molly bows like all over the place right now, because we had nothing. I didn't know any better. I'm just sending out pictures to people. I'm emailing, putting stuff in portals. God just protected us.
I would say God was on your side. There's no doubt about that.
So I'm doing cold calls one lunch break, and this woman said, oh, you need to speak to Stan. And I said, I do? She said, hold on, I'm gonna connect you right now. I was like, oh my God, like I'm actually about to speak to somebody. So I get on the phone with Stan, and I'm explaining to him, like, I got this write up and I've got this pitch, and this is why it should be named this. This is why you should be creating this barrette, what the market is like and how you're missing out. And he's like, well, I didn't get any of the emails that you sent through the portal. Just email it to me directly. Let's keep talking. He's intrigued. He sends it we goes to like 2 rounds of focus groups. And at the end, he was just like, ma'am, this is a great idea, but it's not the direction that we're moving in as a company. So I'm sorry. I was crushed. I was just like,
I bet.
I don't even know what to do now. And I told him, I said, Stan, you can't just leave me hanging like this. Because Gabby still every day was asking me about when
she's little. She's little.
Yeah. I mean, like Gabby would literally every day was like, Mommy, what's going on with my bows? Mommy, when are my bows coming? I was like, I can't go home and tell her because you said no, that we stopped. Like, you got to help me make one bow. And he was like, ma'am, I don't think you understand what this entails. Like, you have to create a mold, you got to create a tool, you got to get a minimum order. And I was just like, listen, I don't know what you mean. I don't know how much it's going to cost. I said, but I can't go home and tell her because you said no, she quit. Okay?
I love this.
So whatever you need to do to help me make one bow. He said, ma'am, you can't make one bow. I said, well, whatever. Just, can you help me?
I wonder where Gabby got the persistence from.
Yeah, I'm a little over the top. So he gives me, he said, ma'am, if you're that insistent, don't say I didn't warn you. Like, this can cost a lot of money. Here are the numbers of 2 engineers in your region that we've worked with. He said, when you call them, they're going to tell you we don't work with startups, but you can say Stan told you to call.
Oh.
And I called the first number, it was disconnected. I called the second number, they answered, and they said, ma'am, we don't work with startups. And then I said, Stan told me to call. You could hear them suck their teeth like, oh. Ma'am, you got 15 minutes. So I took time off the next week, drove to Charlotte, and we pitched. It's a much longer story than this, but we've still been working with the same engineers this entire time.
Oh.
And they connected us to our manufacturers. And we're still working with both of them. But it was from cold calling and thinking that we were going to sell an idea And then the business just took off on it.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of lessons here because I always like to have lessons for all the entrepreneurs and business owners and professionals. One is, and I think that this would be the number one thing you'd say, do not make sure you are protected before you send anything out because God was on y'all's side. I don't know about make sure you're protected. And secondly, don't take no for an answer. And I've heard you talk about that, Gabby, in several of your interviews. Don't take no for an answer. And you have kind of a saying for that, Gabby, when you've talked about that. Talk about that. Thank you so much, Rozalynn, for sharing that. That was so, that was powerful.
I mean, I'm obviously young, but I've heard a lot of rejection, a lot of no's, a lot of things. So it's kind of grown as, I don't want to say it's common, but I mean, in entrepreneurship, it kind of is. So I think it was after one major no, and there was a quote that I came up with, which is no is just an abbreviation for next opportunity. So 1 no, 2 no's, however many no's you get, it may be 500. Just keep going towards that goal that you always have, that idea that you have. Like I always talk about persistence and resilience because that's super important. No matter how old you are in business, it can be very tough to hear a lot of rejection and no's at first. But if you keep going, you never know how close you are. Like you always see the mining photos of people just mining away, but they never know how close they are to the thing, and then they just give up. So never give up. Continue to keep going towards that opportunity, and it will come to you at some point.
Well, it's interesting earlier when you were talking, Rozalynn, about to Gabby's point about bossy, and I especially I think with girls, but I think in a different way with boys as well. They're different, different words we say and don't say and should say. But like with girls with the bossy, I'm with you. Never stifle someone's personality because that's going to give them the resilience that they need moving forward. So kudos to you and your pastor and everything else. And thank you for sharing that here because I don't think we can hear that enough. And I think sometimes as parents or adults, we just get so, just stop. No, you don't want them to stop. You want to channel that. And obviously y'all have channeled that well with Gabby. How much of a family affair is this? Because obviously everything I see online so much is y'all. Is your dad, your brother, how involved are they with the business?
Yeah, before we answer that, I've got to shout out Jamie. I didn't realize he was here. Jamie is here from the boat group.
I put it up there and I was going to put it back and then I did. Okay. So that's, oh my gosh.
He's with the engineering group, boat group. So thanks, Jamie. Support over the years. That's amazing that he's even here today. But family affair, you just heard dad and brother stepping out as we were leaving. So, we're here. This is our headquarters, but it also doubles as office space for my husband, her dad, stand-up comedian Mike Goodwin. So he was just recording his podcast. Gabby was on the podcast sharing about a college decision. But y'all can look him up, Bowtie Comedy. You've probably seen him.
So I'm sorry, let's stop here for a second. It's Mike Goodwin.
Mike Goodwin.
And would you say Bowtie Comedy?
Bowtie Comedy is his handle on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. He is known for his bow tie. So he's a clean comedian, but also dresses very snazzy.
Oh, well, I'll have to look him up. Okay.
So, yeah, all he does is clean, and he's gone viral a number of times in the last couple of months. So you maybe seen a video of him and you're like, wow, I didn't make the connection. But yeah,
no, I didn't. Well, the bows, I mean, that's perfect. Okay. Family affair. And how much
absolutely family affair, right before we got on the interview, we're going through bows and inspecting them for this, opportunity that we have coming up really soon with a retailer. So Michael is helping to inspect bows. That's my son, Gabby's brother. Mike considers himself, he calls himself more of a quiet investor. But putting together boxes and unloading trucks by himself, I'll never forget that. We had a whole 18-wheeler full of boxes of bows.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of bows.
We did not realize how many bows would be in there, so we did not call for help, and we had a limited time schedule to get the bows off the truck. Like he literally, as a one man, he was drenched by the end of it because if we went over the time, they would have started charging us more. He got the bows off the truck. I'll never forget that. But it's been a family affair. Everything that we do is a family affair. We call ourselves Team Goodwin. So whatever anybody has to do, that means that we're all chipping in together to do it.
That's so cool. Where do y'all go to church? What's your church? Where do you go to church?
Right Direction Church International here in Columbia, South Carolina. Shout out. But yeah.
Because you talked about your pastor so much.
Yeah, no, we have been at Right Direction maybe about 24 years because we're about to celebrate 25 years of marriage.
Oh, wow.
We were newlyweds when we got there. So, the kids, of course, have been born and raised there, gone through preschool, infant toddler ministry, children's church, now teen ministry.
It's interesting. In my first career as a school principal in the education sphere, you had to be a little bit more cautious about how you talk about things. And faith, yes, specifics, not so much. But I love being my own boss, if you will, because I can talk about faith. Yeah. And I often wonder, how do people get up in the morning and not have a foundation, a belief, a faith system? I can't even fathom. I mean, all those times, Rozalynn, that you were getting no's, and Gabby, you still had the church and the community there to support you. I mean, what a gift. And obviously someone was looking over your shoulder that your idea wasn't stolen, because that's like mind-boggling. That is mind-boggling. Thank you, Lord. That's a gift for sure.
Amen.
For sure.
Amen.
I mean, that's too much. I love the story of your brother doing the bows out of the 18-wheeler and the whole thing. I could only imagine. Now, how far will college be for you to be able to come home and all that kind of stuff?
I'll be 7 hours away. Driving.
So it's a road trip.
It's a road trip, or it's a flight.
It's a flight.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. My parents are obviously very excited, but it's very different.
It's a huge opportunity. Now, I watched your whole campaign, if you will, for the countdown for your scholarships and for the college announcement and the whole thing. Walk us through what you did there, because I remember watching that and thinking, I think we'd already confirmed this interview, and I thought, this child is on fire. And that was incredible. Talk about what you did there for people who might not have seen it.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I've pretty much grown up on social media. People have seen me. Like, I have a lot of internet aunties, uncles, grandparents, that type of thing. So one of the main things I really wanted to be able to showcase to other people was my college admissions process, because people have seen me from a 7-year-old first grader to now an 18-year-old senior that's about to graduate from college, or graduate from high school and go into college. So that was one thing that we really wanted to send out to people, make sure people knew. And after all the things that happened, the whole college decision, it was really just, and also being able to graduate, release the book right before I graduated. So there was a lot going on. And there's the book. So we wanted to make sure that we also had hype around the brand, hype around the book, all the things. So in total, well, I don't want to say total. My dad doesn't like saying this because he was a former college counselor. But anyways, in total, if you add it all up, I was able to get over $1 million in scholarships from 8 different universities. So that was the first thing that we wanted to make sure people knew. And that also gave people an opportunity to guess where I was going. So
that was very cute.
Yes, I posted those 8 universities, gave people some time to guess. Give people some time to, settle with the fact that I was a senior and I was about to graduate.
Everything was coming together.
Yes, ma'am. So then we did that, and then there's things like called the college decision video. So we basically posted a trailer. I'm getting the full video together, but it's basically just the reactions that people record themselves, like in real time, for their.
And
decisions.
Michael edited my son, her
it.
little brother, does all the video.
He does our video editing, so he did that. People were on us. People were on us about that video because it was like May 1st. We told them we were going to tell them May 1st, and it was like 8 p.m. and we were not done with the video. And so many people were like, "Where's the video? Where's the video? Where's the decision?" So people were amped up about that.
Well, exactly. It was too much.
But we eventually announced that I would be attending Vanderbilt University.
The cowboy hat?
Yes, the cowboy hat as an Ingram Scholar. So that is where I'm going, the whole process, just the entire support. Super grateful for all the support behind me regarding everything. Like this past month and a half has been crazy. So I'm super thankful for everyone. It's been crazy in an amazing way, but there's just been a lot. So that was one thing that was really cool to showcase and share with other people. It's not really something I talked about leading up to it, but being able to show the behind the scenes. Right. Obviously you see all the marketing for businesses and the Gabby Bows, get the book, all the things, but to be able to like actually show the founder, the CEO, like their personal life and things like that, and seeing people to see like who I am as a student as well, that was really cool to do.
Well, and I think it's such a you present such a positive role model for young people, boys and girls, of what's possible, because I have no doubt the reason, well, many reasons, many factors, but your business savviness and the things you've done, the persistence, the resiliency, that helped with that amount of scholarship offers. Yes, I mean, my goodness. And I love the fact you said that your goal for some time had been to get a college scholarship so parents wouldn't have to pay because they'd given so much. I mean, Mom gave up lunch hour for all those years.
Yeah, more than that.
It's a lot. It's a lot of
that was a little thing. So you talked about the new opportunity. Can you talk about that publicly? Can you say that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So we have now gotten a partnership with Claire's, the retailer, the jewelry, accessories store, all girls love. We will be launching in 876 Claire stores this fall. So we are currently preparing for that. That's what she was talking about earlier, inspecting about 14,000 packs of bows to get out by August. So we are actively working, but excited to continue to share that or start to share that and get people excited to see them in the stores and trying to sell out so we can put more in there.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting because anyone who's got a daughter, a child or whatever, young person knows Claire's. I mean, they know Claire's. I mean, I've been in Claire's many, many times. And so it's a very popular store for young people. And so I have no doubt you're going to be a huge success. Now, you just said something, Gabby. What'd you say? You want to sell out? What'd you say?
Oh, yes. Making sure that we're selling out of all the stores, getting as much traction to be able to continue to get purchase orders. And
I see. Okay. So you didn't mean before. You meant once it goes in, sell out so that they want to order some more stuff.
Once they go
absolutely.
Get them off the shelf. We don't want to see them in Claire's. That's the
Get them out of Claire's.
Get them out of Claire's. So
exactly. Are you doing anything kind of fun with where people buy you guys are so savvy. I'm sure you've already thought of it, but some kind of a fun challenge. They buy the Gabby Bow, they post it, they do something online with that and tag you. That'd be cute. Sadie Mae would be having me take her to Claire's if we should go seriously to be able to do that. You should do something with that, a challenge of some type. You could have kids all over the country.
Absolutely.
So they go in August.
Yes. Well, they say fall, so I'm pretty sure
you have to ship by August. You have to ship August.
Okay. We're actually shipping the first big batch in July. Okay. So my anticipation is August that they'll be on the shelves. August, September, back to school time.
Okay, because anyone who follows y'all would be seeing that and watching.
Absolutely, yes. So please follow us. Let us know. We have not. We're sharing it here. It's not something that's on our social media yet because everything we do has to be strategic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I put the newsletter up there. So hopefully everyone, either they're live or they watch the recording. A lot of people are going to watch the recording. Be sure and sign up for that because y'all do a phenomenal job with your emails. You really, really, every time I get them, I'm like, this is so cool. You do so many, but you can tell it's strategic too.
Yes.
So Gabby, talk about the one, because when I first got this email, my dear friends Linda and Stacy, I showed them the email. I told them, I said, look at this child, look what she's done. Talk about that email where you talked about graduating and watching you give the commencement speech and your dorm. I mean, talk about strategic. That was incredible. Seriously, that was like over the top. I was like, this child should be teaching this stuff. It was so impressive. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, we use a lot of the emails to also bring back like a personal aspect. There's a lot I've been writing like from the desk of Gabby's for a while now. Just talking about my personal life, what's going on, how's the business going? Like just to be able to bring a personal connection or personal aspect to the
Right.
business. So that was one way that we were able to really put into perspective what's going on right now. All the emotions, all the feels, everything, because there's a lot happening. This is a very emotional time. So to be able to like share that with our customers was great.
Right.
Absolutely. And shout out to Moya on our team too. Like we're not doing all these things ourselves. So
oh no, of course.
Clear.
Team
yeah.
Gabby. Is it Gabby? Team Gabby, right?
Well,
we say Team Goodwin for the family, but yeah, the confidence team. We've got social media, email, all those people. So they're doing
the email that we're talking about, where you talked about they could watch you live, give the speech, and walk the stage, the whole thing. Is there? Do you have that any way where you could share that again, just like on LinkedIn, where you could share that whole thing? I would, because one of the things that she did, y'all, that I will share, is that she talked about her dorm, and she had links of what she needed for her dorm. And I'm saying, I went in twice and I put stuff in the cart. I just haven't gone in and sent it yet. So
Okay.
I can see it's still there. But I said, anyone who's this savvy and this personal to share her world, what a gift. So I want to get you something for your dorm. So I think that'd be a cool
thank
thing
you.
to ship, to put in there, to put the comments here. Put your link or something in there later when we finish. But do that.
Use your community,
It is, and people want to be able to support each other. I think that's
absolutely
beauty of social media, to be able to support one another. What's the one thing you had that you don't have for your dorm yet that you want?
Probably a headboard or like wedding stuff. I don't know. I'm probably not. Yeah, I need a color aesthetic. I think that's what I need. Like, what is the theme gonna look like?
Okay, because
it's not on the list.
She's talking about something on your list.
Oh, on my list?
On your list. I saw the little refrigerator that had
the refrigerator would be nice.
Did you get the little refrigerator?
I haven't gotten the refrigerator.
Okay, well then, okay. Anthony will probably get you the little refrigerator. That was so clever and so cute, because I had never seen that before.
Definitely going to be in use.
Yeah, that was very, very cute, very clever.
Yeah, so, I think the key here is as you bring people along and people feel like they're part of your family. So we call our Facebook group the Confidence Family.
Yes.
So we've never said you're the group or the Facebook group.
Thank you.
You're the Confidence Family. Yeah. Our Mommy and Me Entrepreneurship Academy, they're the Academy family. So people feel as if my niece is graduating. If my niece is graduating, and we wanted all of them to come. We knew they couldn't come. So the next best thing is to stream it. Stream it along with us. We're sharing the pictures. We're sharing the behind the scenes. We're, and then there were people who asked, does she have an Amazon list? So we shared it. We didn't share it with everybody. Yeah. But the people on the email list, those are, some of the people who are closest to us. So we did share it there.
But I think that's so good, because you're right. I mean, I am very close to people I have never met in person.
Right.
Never met in person. But I feel so close to them because of things like this, the behind the scenes and the personal stuff. And I think that's the beauty of the digital world we have today, is that, to do that. I love that you say family. I always say community. Mm-hmm. I was never, and I'm not being critical of those who do, but I was never a fan of tribe. My son-in-law is Native.
Yeah.
So I never was a fan of tribe, but I think community, and I love family, because it is that. It's, our families are different these days because we have digital space. So I'm getting you the refrigerator. So put that down and take that off of there. Don't you have to leave it for me to get it, but don't. I want somebody else to get it. I want somebody else. You have gotten so many awards. I mean, my gosh, I was looking at the list. And you're speaking at a big conference coming up. Talk about the awards you received and how you got those and what those meant to you, and et cetera, if that makes sense. Because you've got so many.
There is a lot. I'm looking over this. There's a lot to look at. Super thankful for everything. You mentioned TSP Live, the event I'm speaking at. That is a premier business group for a lot of Black entrepreneurs. So we've been a part of their mastermind, their group, their business group, kind of more closer for 9 years now.
Oh, wow.
So that's where we were able to get that 6-figure award from them, continuing to get like group awards and things like that. So being in that group has been one of the main things that we've been able to, or one of the main ways we've been able to get awards as a family. there's been, I think, just putting myself out there, social media. There's things that you can apply for. Like, I think that Because of Them We Can award, they reached out. I'm trying to think of awards that you have to apply for, like Black Enterprise, Teenpreneur of the Year, things like that.
Yeah, Teenpreneur was really cool.
Yes, ma'am. Cool. So you apply for those things. Trying to think of what else, but yeah, there. If you see, like, I know there's one right now where you may see like the 22 under 22 or something like that, or all the things, you have to apply for those, like the Forbes, for example, like the top 100 women or top 50, whatever. So be on the lookout for those applications, just as you would be on the lookout for scholarships or things like that, or grants. That's the one way you can be able to get awards, but just building your network, building your brand. People want to award those who are doing great things. So continue to just be authentic and show how you're impacting others, because then you can be able to get rewarded for it as well.
So what are you speaking on at TSP Live? What will you speak about?
Yes. So I'm mostly talking about like the ups and downs of business. Like, I'm equating it to like a roller coaster, like an amusement park. So it's going to be fun. But cool. Yes, ma'am. So just really talking about, again, like I talked about earlier, resilience and continuing to stay the course, having courage, having confidence in your journey. Because even though I mentioned I may be young, but there's been a lot that we've done in 11 years and a lot that we've learned. So especially in this time where it may be a little uncertain for a lot of businesses, whether it be product businesses who are trying to continue production, or even services, things like that. Just using it as a way to really motivate the people in the audience, and show them that, if I can do it, you can do it as well. So I think that's really what I'm kind of talking about. Motivation. Awesome. I think you brought me in for motivation.
I think you'll be a great speaker for motivation. Talk to us about, we've referenced this many, many times, the Naturally Me at the Confidence Salon. You talked a lot about the confidence, Gabby and Rozalynn. Talk about your book, how you came to decide to write it, and talk about your book a bit.
Yes. So she held it up.
You'll both hold it up.
Yes, we'll both hold it up. But this is my new book, Naturally Me at the Confidence Salon, a children's book, first authored book. But I published it with HarperCollins, which is an amazing opportunity. They actually found us through an expo that we were part of, the licensing expo. So because we have intellectual property, we're getting into the licensing space, creating new products. So we were at the licensing expo, won an award for a competition. That's another thing we applied for and was able to win, and got recognized on the national stage, on the big stage, main stage, had a poster and everything. So people saw us that we were trying to reach out to, but didn't necessarily get success with. And one of those people was Tommy Nelson and HarperCollins. So they basically came up to our table one day and was like, "We've seen you. You have a really cool story. Would you like writing a book?" And I was like, "Hey, why not?"
That is so cool. That is so cool.
This has probably been like a year and a half in the making of writing the book. It was authored by me, wrote it, but they handled a lot of the things. They handled the illustration, so pick the illustrator.
It's beautiful. Yeah, Princess.
It's a really pretty book. I really enjoy and really proud of it. But I always knew that if I wrote a book, especially, I wanted to really talk about confidence and being authentically you and loving yourself, because that's really what the product has been about. That's what the business has been about. That's what my journey has been about, like finding something that you love and continuing to grow in it and feel confident in that. And that will also help you grow in the confidence that you have in yourself. And so that's what this book is talking about a lot of, with hair, but then also with creative things like dancing and knitting and all the things that people may kind of see as, I don't want to say inferior, but something that may be unique to different people.
Right.
But anything that you love is great, and it's unique to you, and you should love it and own it the way that you love it. So that's the bigger story behind the book, but it really just talks about a girl who goes into a salon, nervous, doesn't really like her hair, but she's also able to learn how beautiful her hair is, by
All
how
kinds of different styles. I love that you show the styles.
Illustration was amazing. It's also illustrated by another young Black female as well. It's one thing I wanted to incorporate. But it's been a great journey to see everybody get their book and read it and love it. We were talking about your granddaughter. Just hearing all these different stories and seeing it has been really cool for me. And it's been really, really inspiring.
Right. And I think too, Gabby, congratulations. It's a beautiful book. And I think people would assume, okay, well, you have to be a Black child to like the book, right? Hairstyles. Not true. Children. Sadie Mae loves this book. She has us read this book every time she's over here. And me having to learn how to do the bubbles has not been too successful. But anyway, I see that you have a bunch of book signings coming up. I was actually going to originally ask you for Juneteenth, which is Thursday, but I knew that you probably had all kinds of activities going on, what you do. So talk to us about your book signings, because you got several coming up.
Yes. So wanted to start here in my local area of Columbia, South Carolina. So on Juneteenth, my church is actually having an event for the entire community. So I will be there, have a table, people can get the book, and also have me sign it as well. Especially for that's definitely for like my church community, because they've all been like, they all got their books, they're all excited. I haven't seen too many of them, so I'm going to be able to sign their books there. And then also that's Thursday, that's the 19th. On Sunday, the 22nd, there are kind of, I want to say county library, or one of the biggest libraries in our state, the Richland Library, is hosting, they host like Meet the Author events. So that's, they're going to be hosting one for me. So we'll be there answering questions. I'll read the book out loud as well, and then people can come and also purchase and have me sign the book. We'll also have some other amazing young entrepreneurs in our state, in our city, the Lemonade Twins. They've been in business for like 5 years, maybe.
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years.
So they started, they're twins. Really young. They're probably like 10 years old. But they make lemonade and a lot of different flavors. They're like the hot commodity in the city. Every time you see them, you got to get some lemonade. So they'll be there to sell their lemonade as well. So bringing in other entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, other businesses in the area. So that's going to be a really fun event. So if you're in the Columbia area or just in South Carolina in general, that would be 3 to 4 p.m. on June 22nd. So that is that Sunday. And then also we were just talking about TSP Live in Atlanta. I will be there. I'm speaking, but I also will have a specific day for me to sign books as well for the people who are attending. So don't just buy the ticket because I'm going to be there, because it is an investment. But if you definitely do want to be there, that would be an opportunity for me.
I did some research on them, and you're right, it's an investment, but based on your success, but other things I've seen and read as well. I think they do an incredible job helping different people. So I think it's an investment well spent for sure. For sure. Are you doing a virtual book signing? Have you done anything with that? Because you're so savvy on social. Are you doing a virtual book signing?
We've done calls with like the people, like our pre-order, the people who pre-ordered. We had a call with them, me reading the book.
Oh, good.
Answering any questions about the book, things like that. So we'll probably have those type of calls. I don't know how you could virtually sign a book. So I don't know if that could be on the table.
Yeah, the people that I know, the ones who've done it, they bought the book and then you signed it and then you shipped it to them. So yeah.
So those things.
It's a beautiful book, though. I mean, it is a beautiful book.
Yeah, so we'll have different events, virtual events, things like that. But definitely looking, especially as I'm here in town, looking to do a lot more in person.
For sure. So what's next on the radar? Obviously, I would think, Claire's is humongous. What other things are on the horizon? Of course, you're going off to college, but what do you have on the drawing pad?
The Claire's, of course, and then college, and then just trying to get to some type of resolution related to manufacturing. I mean, that fits into the Claire's, but, we'll be spending some time this summer trying to figure out kind of how to secure our supply chain.
Yeah.
These uncertain times.
Right.
So that definitely will take up some time. She's got some more book signings coming up. We'll be in Chicago beginning of August. So we're adding those to the calendar constantly. So follow us, and we'll certainly keep you informed about those happenings. And we just got back from Dallas. Won a really big pitch competition. So that consumed a lot of time last week, but we're very
Tell us about what you were doing in Dallas. Tell us,
Yeah, so we were at the Good Soil Forum. Bishop Chairman T.D. Jakes, his event, his foundation, they run a conference basically for entrepreneurs across the world to come, and it's faith-based, but it's also a way for you to connect with different people, learn from amazing people. Oprah was there to speak one day. People from Hello Alice, the CEO, Elizabeth Gore was there. So many different amazing people to talk or to hear from. But we were also there to be a part of a pitch competition. So they have a big pitch competition every year where they give away pretty much like $500,000 to different businesses. The top prize was $200,000, and we got that. So super exciting, very selective competition. Over 800 people, 1,800. Sorry, I keep saying the wrong. 1,800 people applied, and 7 people pitched. So it was definitely a selective process.
He's very, very well. I mean, I know globally, but he's very well respected and very well known in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Got to meet him in person. Like it was a great experience.
You say he's larger than life. He really is larger than life. He's a really, really good person. Congratulations on the two. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's just like, that kind of helps with all the things you want to do.
Absolutely.
Is there someone you want to, that's one of the things I love about social digital space. Is there someone you want to meet or connect with? You talked about Tommy Nelson before, that was on your list. Do you have a list of who you want to connect with or meet moving forward? Do you have?
I mean, there's always people that you want to see or meet or just be in contact with. I mean, obviously the biggest person would be like Oprah or something. Let us be on her favorite list. Let us be on her favorite list. We've gotten close with Gayle King, but we gotta get over the hump. But it's obviously people like that. Obviously Bishop Jakes, we were able to meet him and connect with him as well. So there's always people. There's always like stores. Obviously, with this Claire's deal, you want to be able to get the eyes of so many other retail opportunities.
Sally Beauty.
Something like that. So yeah, definitely using each and every opportunity to find new people to obviously look at and follow, but also to get in contact with.
Okay. I have a dear friend. I won't mention her name on here, but I know she's going to reach out to you about doing something with you, and she wants to talk to you. I won't say that. You know who I'm talking about. But I think just being in places like that and having those kinds of avenues, it opens up doors and windows for you that you might not have had before. And goodness gracious, ladies, you guys have had a lot of doors open for you. Thank you, Lord. I mean, it's amazing. Just I knew that talking to y'all would be incredible, but you've exceeded my expectations. That's even with all the following I've done of you. So I cannot thank you enough. You guys have just been incredible. And I know everyone watching this now, the live or the recording, are going to continue to follow you and to see all the great things that you're doing. And if you ever need anything from me or anybody in the community, please reach out, because all it takes is an ask. Because you always say, you got a 50% chance they're going to say yes. I mean, you never know. You never know. So, and Rozalynn, thank you so much. You my contact, because I know Gabby's on the road all the time and doing so much stuff, and I appreciate. And I was looking at Rozalynn saying, we both wear red glasses. I never have anybody. It's so cool. It's so cool. So anyway, but it was a delight. And everyone, please make sure that you connect with Gabby and Rozalynn both on LinkedIn, and they're branded. They have their story and they've got their brand. So anywhere with Gabby Bows, you're going to find them, which is incredible. It makes it so easy. You don't have to search it. It just pops up, which is awesome. So you're on every platform. I encourage people to follow you everywhere. So anyway, but it was such a delight. I'm so grateful and so appreciative that you took the time to be here with us today and to share a lot of your stories. Anything I didn't ask you that you want to share?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we really appreciate the opportunity and the support over the years. of everyone, but especially you, Debbie. There are people that we met a long time ago, and it just always is a blessing to know that they continue to follow our journey.
Yeah, because Gabby was a baby. She was little. Little. And Gabby, one thing you should, my honor, truly, and Stacy Shefflin and I, and sweet husband David, through the years of things of being able to be part of y'all's lives. The something you should do, Gabby, is you should, I'm going to say it the other way around. A toothpaste company needs to sponsor you. You've got the most gorgeous smile. Seriously. You smile, it just lights up the screen. So, it's kind of like The Rock, his smile. Some toothpaste company needs to do that with you, both of you ladies. So I love you. Thank you so much for being here. And
absolutely. It. She has gotten an award from Invisalign, and they are.
This is the reason.
They didn't even know it. They didn't even know there was a connection. But she won a Changemaker award from Invisalign. I'm like, we definitely paid them enough. But
well, at least you're getting something back from it, right, Mom? At least something back. Well, thank everyone for being here. All the fabulous people who listen to us live and who will look at the recording. Thank you so much. God bless everyone, and thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.